r/AskReddit by Reddit. People who lost their virginity after age 35 or never did. What's your story? I'm gonna be completely honest here. I'm 38. Tomorrow is my 39th birthday and I'm still a virgin because nobody wants me. I'm boring and ugly. I could give elaborate excuses, like I spent a lot of time taking care of my dad, which, although true, aren't the true cause of the problem. What makes it worse is that the longer it goes on, the harder it gets to go out and meet people. You either don't want people to know, or if they do know, then there's a stigma attached to being an almost 40-year-old virgin. I turned 35 this year. A combination of early childhood trauma, probable asexuality, mental illness, with medications, physical disability, low self-esteem, living in remote areas without options. I've never been on a date, never been kissed, never had an orgasm, seriously. Basically, my complete lack of sex drive leads me to identify as asexual. I can look at someone and say that they are visually pleasing, but I don't want to jump them or anything. Not quite 35 yet, but I'll share. I'm a lady. I feel like at this point, the concept of virginity doesn't actively apply, but when I tell potential partners about my situation, they totally get weird and feel like I'm going to go all clingy virgin on them. I've been in a bunch of both long and short-term relationships. I've tried to have sex multiple times with multiple people, which is why I feel like the whole virginity thing doesn't entirely apply, but still sort of does, but have some issues connected to anxiety and have never been able to actually have penetrative sex. Regarding the anxiety, I don't actually worry about sex, and there isn't anything inherently about sex that makes me nervous. I'm not really worried about pain either. I just get tense and tend to clamp down around my pelvic floor muscles without actively realizing it. It makes any potential penile penetration really challenging / impossible, but fingers have been fine. I have no past sexual / emotional trauma or negative sexual experiences. Anyway, guys will hang out and try for a while, but then I always get the "I think you're a really nice girl, but maybe we should just be friends" conversation. I respect and understand it, and I always tell people ahead of time before things get physical between us. I joined Tinder for a while, just to be able to work on this with someone without needing to worry about them leaving me. I met one person that actually turned out to be really interesting, and genuinely caught me by surprise. We started seeing each other over the summer, and he broke things off with me a few weeks ago. After that, I thought it would be an okay idea to try with a close friend of mine that knew about my situation. I felt like I could be open with him about this without anything getting weird between us. We tried. It was weird. I realized quickly that I totally wasn't into it and didn't want to do the whole kissing / cuddling / etc thing with him. That idea was a flop. We are still cool though, and we can openly laugh about it. Ultimately, I spoke to my doctor, who referred me to a physical therapist that specializes in working with people who have had similar experiences. She gave me a small muscle stimulator that, when connected with a machine, is meant to decrease my muscular clamping reaction and just get my body used to relaxing in response to penetration. For all of the time that I spent trying to have sex with other people, she was the first person I ever met that was able to actually get inside me. It was easy in the weirdest way, and happened within the first 7 minutes of meeting her. Barely felt a thing. Unfortunately, she wanted me to come back twice a week. My insurance didn't cover it, and the cost would added up really quickly. I might go back at some point in time, but right now it's not in the cards for me. I'm not really sure what comes next after this. I feel like I go into these situations expecting them to fail, and assuming the other person will get frustrated and peace out after a while. So I think that builds up my anxieties, and I'm not entirely sure how to move past that. I'm a 29-year-old guy and still a virgin. Biggest factor is probably crippling social anxiety, especially with women. Add to that extremely confused sexuality, weird and deviant fetishes, religious programming that ducked up the idea of intimacy, very little desire for sexual activity outside of that which can be bought at an adult store, and you have someone who has at least partially convinced themselves they don't care about sex with another, and who is too scared of what they think others think to pursue another person. Man, that was a long sentence. Made it to 26. To make a long story short, 14 to 20 I gave up several opportunities because I was straight edge. I did not want to be an immoral pleasure seeker. Sex was only worth doing when love was present. 20 to 25 I'm going to say a word that will trigger everyone. I blame feminism. Spending a lot of my time online, I watched feminism kind of explode online. It made me constantly question and analyze everything I was saying to women. I was crippled with fear about becoming labeled a creep, weirdo, loser, molester, etc. I had had multiple girls vent to me about things seemingly innocent to me that got them labeled as complete pervs and creeps. Every action I shared with a girl first was put through my anti-creep sexist loser filter to make sure it was sanitary. No confidence because always anxious. 26. Hit the age of enlightenment. Realize that you just need to say what you want and how you feel, and you don't want to spend your time with someone who makes you censor yourself. Realize that you need to take risks with behavior. Men and women alike much prefer being kissed to being asked if you can kiss them. Everyone likes the thrill and danger of burgeoning love, and having it methodically plodded through and dissected ruins that excitement for everyone involved. Went on 2 dates while I was 26. On the first date I met the second girl, dated her for 7 months now. Turning 30 this year, still a virgin. My story is probably a little weird really. When I was younger I just didn't have a lot of confidence in myself. Then one bored day, when I was 22 or 23, I posted a nude online. I got a surprisingly positive response. I had expected to just be met with trolls, and I would battle boredom dealing with them. Now I'm sitting here, 7 years later, and I have been seen naked in picture or video form by literally millions of people, and have never even had a kiss with a girl. Stranger still, this month I got an offer from one of the top gay websites to star in a video for them. A very tempting offer too. So you might think I would have all this confidence, right? Online, sure, but in real life, not so much. Somehow, even with this positive feedback I'm shy and don't think much of myself. I'm working on it though. I'm aware of my problems and maybe sometime soon I will finally get a kiss, or better yet get laid, or maybe a long-term relationship. Since no one is answering, I once relieved a man of his virginity who was 36. He was good looking, but suffered from shyness and a higher than normal voice. Most women assumed he was gay, especially since his housemate was a man. We were friends. He confided in me that it had really been bothering him. He found me attractive, and I offered to help him out. I had definitely friend-zoned him, I'm afraid. We just weren't couple material. Anyway, the deed was done, and we talked about it. I told him the whole deal was overrated. He disagreed when we were finished. He said later it gave him more confidence, and I know he married a great girl soon after. Perhaps the loss of his virginity helped him approach her. I hope so. He was a good man. A good catch for the right person. I found him adventurous in bed and that surprised me. He wanted to try everything he'd heard of, including, well, more advanced methods, let's say. I told him safety first, and go for it. He thought he wasn't good at it all, but he was just fine. Well, let's see. I'm a male virgin that's slightly over 40. I was decent looking when I was younger, probably peaked at about a 7, but I never got along with the ladies that well. I haven't really had any female friends or acquaintances that weren't involved with my friends. I've probably had opportunities, but I was too awkward/choosy to capitalize on them. One thing that really messes me up is a distaste for the way relationships work. I suppose I wanted a woman that hadn't ever fooled around either, and as you get older they get harder to find. Anyway, I don't think I'm actually capable of having a relationship, and at some point I might just get a prostitute to get the experience and see what I've been missing. I work with a 45-year virgin. He was dubbed a weird guy at work. He's very quiet and keeps to himself. Personally, I never had any issues with him at first. A few people I work with had a group outing. Our supervisor at the time was pretty cute. She asked him if he wanted to go. He accepted the invitation thinking it was a date. He wouldn't leave her alone, and at one point he attempted to put his arm around her. That was the point she brought him back to reality. Many years down the line he told me that she lured him with false intentions, which I know that was a lie. He needs a connection with a person so bad that he saw something that wasn't there. Like I said, I had no issues with him, so I invited him out to bowling every Sunday. He would cry every time we went out. I learned that he tried to date a lesbian girl by moving in with her and her girlfriend. Despite having long fingernails, unkempt long hair and facial hair, he dreamed about finding the girl of his dreams. A suicide girl was the type of girl he was after. One weekend he laughed that he almost got pulled over and said, "Thank God, I have 3 unregistered guns in my car." After asking him why, he said he taught in guerrilla warfare class and that he could teach me how to make pipe bombs very easily, and finally the icing on the cake, he had made 2 remarks about underage girls that made me finally say duck this guy. One day he said I was checking the girl out in the pink shirt. There was only one girl wearing a pink shirt. She looked like she was 11. Another time he asked for me to take a picture of this girl wearing a halter top so he could put it on his computer. Everyone that heard him looked at the girl and went silent. That's the last time I hung out with him. I see him from time to time and I say hi. Hopefully if he shoots up the place, he'll spare me. Thank you for watching Reddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos. Share your stories in the comment section below.